What if you could build a business that gives you the life of freedom you deserve? What if you could find the secrets to marketing, leadership, customer service, and other aspects of business that help you exceed your goals? What if you could walk away from your business for 30 days and it never misses a beat? That's what this podcast is for, to help business leaders like you find freedom from the day-to-day grind and start spending your time doing the things you love. I'm Levi McClendon, and my co-host is Josh Taylor, and this is the Cheers to Freedom podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Cheers to Freedom podcast. I am Josh Taylor, and I am with my host, Levi McClendon. Levi, how are you?
Doing well, Josh. How are you?
I am doing great. We also have a special guest with us, Stacy Norton. Stacy is one of the newer members of Team OpSpot, and she is our digital marketing director, and she has been crushing it with some ads. So, Stacy, how are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you on the episode today because I think what we're talking about is extremely important. But before we jump into best practices for digital ads and a wealth of information that I think our listeners are going to get today, I want Levi to kind of tell us how you ended up with OpSpot. So Levi, tell us the story about the behind the scenes of Stacy ending up here.
All right, start the timer, 45 seconds. Ready?
I gave you 45 seconds.
Go. All right.
Go.
So Stacy was introduced to me by a mutual friend. We were looking for somebody in the space of digital ads, really Facebook ads, an expert in the space, so that we could learn more, to be honest. At OpSpot, as you guys know, we do a lot of, the SMS marketing, re-engagement, fill the funnels, but we weren't the best at the Facebook ads. And we knew a lot of customers were wanting that for good reason, because you are able to drive traffic to your wash and convert people to members. So I talked to Stacy. We were getting ready to do this summit, right? The Freedom Summit. It was several months before that. We wanted to have some good analytics. So I reached out to Stacy, and Stacy's an expert in Facebook marketing, our Facebook ads. And so we hired her for OpSpot. We had her test with some of our customers. We paid her to do it. We paid to learn. We ran a lot of different ads, from video to smiley faces to Josh being an actor on site at a wash to Stacy being an actor on site at a wash.
By the way, that was the best performing ad.
The one with Stacy or the one with you? It was with you, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was.
But it was cool. It was super fun. I love testing. We love to see what works and doesn't, and what doesn't work. And ultimately, our goal is to provide value to our customers. And that's really what we wanted to achieve. So we had Stacy come out to the summit. She was on stage. We asked her a bunch of questions. It went really well. And of course, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, we need to hire this person, just like I did Josh, right? Josh came on the exact same way. And so we're like, we need to offer this to our customers. And we felt Stacy was a really good fit for us and for the industry. And so as of, like Josh said, she's one of the latest members of Team OpSpot, and we are thrilled to have her, and she is crushing it. And we're excited to have her on this episode, and we're learning more. She's learning, we're learning. We're trying to get this out to the washes out there, and we're excited to have you, Stacy. So thanks for jumping on board.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. So
awesome.
Yeah, and she's already dove in with several of our customers, getting their digital marketing set up and their ads, which is not an easy process. And that there's a lot of front end stuff that needs to be done, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and how a lot of people can make that step a little bit easier, no matter who they're working with. But Stacy, we want to jump into this idea of digital ads, because this is something that a lot of our listeners either are not doing because it can be expensive and it can be risky because it's not easy to do, or something that a lot of people feel like they're just wasting a lot of money on. Like maybe they're just putting their marketing dollars into this black hole of digital ads. And so we want to answer some questions for them today, and really you lean on your expertise and show some of the results that you've gotten with some of our customers to really get them quality leads online and actually use their money wisely. So getting into that, the first question I want to ask you is an obvious question. Is it important for these car washes to spend money on digital ads, and why?
Yeah, well, you want to, so all marketing, this is no secret, you want to be where your customers are. And where are our customers? Everybody is online with their phone in their hand, whether they're on a computer during the day for work, whatever it is, like kids from the ages of who knows how young to adults who are 100 plus, all have access to the internet all of the time. So It is absolutely the best place to get your information in front of the people who might be interested. I know Josh and Levi, you guys have shared stats before that I think it's like 11 or 12 times that a consumer wants to see your brand, see your company before they're willing to make kind of a valuable step, become a customer, or, come through a free wash or give up some information before they're willing to do that. So it's almost impossible to get that many touches on somebody if you're not showing up where they already are. So the wonderful world of digital ads is that they can be on the couch, they can be, at a doctor's appointment, they could be anywhere, and we can have an ad show up telling them about who we are and, what we can offer. So there is nothing better than digital ads to get in front of those customers.
Well, and one of the things that you said is important because it's going to where they are, but making sure that they see it. And we shared a stat. Most of our customers are online. They have Facebook pages for their businesses and those kind of things. But we shared a stat, and if you're just doing organic, which is important, you need to be doing organic posting. But if you're just doing that, I think the most recent stat that we saw is of the people that follow your page, your business page. These are not just random people. These are people that are actually following your page. Less than 5% of them are actually seeing your Facebook posts if you're just doing it organically. And I think Instagram is a little bit better. It's a little less than 10% of the people that actually follow your account. So, organic is not getting it done. And so these ads, allows you to be more specific in who you're getting in front of. So I want to talk about that and some of the best practices of getting these things done. Levi, you had a really great question, and I think that this is probably the one. So Levi, I'm going to let you ask that question, because I think this is probably the number one thing that a lot of our customers and listeners are thinking about when they're hiring somebody to do their Facebook ads.
Yeah, I have a lot of just questions myself in general, right? This is such a topic that a lot of numbers just get thrown out all the time. And one of the numbers is, we have the lowest, cost per click, right? Cost per, I'm down to 30 cents or I'm down to whatever. And Josh, when you and I read and we all follow, Dan Kennedy, and he's so specific on when you're marketing, specifically market to the target that is your target, right? Your target market. Mm-hmm. And Stacy talked about it a second ago with, hey, go where your customers are. Well, go where your target market. And that's the beauty, the beauty in being able to do the digital ads. But this cost per click, Stacy, is that the goal to get the lowest cost per click when you're doing digital marketing?
Almost never, because Facebook and Google and digital ads in general, they are really good at getting you what you ask for. So if you go in and you set up an ad and you are only looking for low cost link clicks, they are going to get you low cost clicks. Those might be clicks from bots. Those might be accidental clicks. Those might be clicks from someone who's totally outside your market. That cost per click is really not going to get you any information that's valuable to you. So what we like to do here at OpSpot is that we want to take something that's actually got a valuable metric to it and track that instead. So we do track the link clicks. We want to know because that can tell us kind of what's doing better or worse, but that can't be the KPI that we're aiming for, because that link click could be totally what I call trash results, is that it's a bunch of numbers or vanity metrics that are not going to get you any real information. That we want to track things like even landing page views is a slightly better. There's kind of like a spectrum of things that you can track. Link clicks would be one of the lowest ones. Landing page views would be kind of the next, people landing on your landing page. That's also a good number to track, but it's not the goal. Then we can track leads. So how many people put their information into the form, the cost per lead. That's when we start to hit these metrics that really matter to us. How many times have we actually gotten someone's phone number, their information, and how much did it cost us to get those phone numbers? Where link clicks is just going to tell you, it's not going to tell you much at all, to be perfectly honest.
So having a low cost, I mean, it's good, right? We want to drive the cost down by being specific and running the right ads, having the right call to action and so on. So it makes sense. So you don't want to be, crazy. And I actually want to ask this, like, what would be If somebody right now, listeners out there running, since you've been doing this for the car wash space now for a while, a quality, let's talk a quality, not quantity, right? So it sounds like we want these quality leads, those that actually click the link, that land on a page, that enter their information, their phone number typically, who, those are true conversions. To get somebody like that, right? Somebody to go through that process, what do you think an average or a good cost per click would be, or, the client acquisition cost? What do you think that would be?
Yeah, so when I call it like a cost per lead, and what we've started with when we start running brand new ads, somebody who hasn't run ads before, and it takes a little while to kind of find your groove. So right out of the bat, we're going to be testing a bunch of things, but if you can start and get a lead that is under $3 to start with, you're on the right track. And then what we've been able to do is within a couple months of testing, get that lead down to $1 and even under $1 when we've kind of really got it honed in. We've got the copy that works, the words that work, the call to action that works, the graphics or the videos that work, and all of those. And then we can really kind of hone in on our audience and what they want to hear, what they want to see from us. And as we go, that cost per lead comes down further and further. And actually a really wonderful thing about Facebook and Google is that the longer you have something running where you're making kind of constant course corrections, this is spending too much, we're going to remove it. This is not spending enough. Those kind of little course corrections, the longer you have an ad running, the better it starts to perform. So I'd say starting at a $3 lead is an okay place to start, but our goal is under $1.
Under $1. Great. Good information.
For one of those quality leads, that's not someone just clicking on something. We've exchanged information with them.
Okay.
Well, and that's something that I've learned from you, Stacy, is, Facebook, obviously, they make their money selling ads. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to do what you tell it to do. And if you're saying, I want as many clicks possible, well, they're just going to put your ad in front of people that just click links. But it doesn't mean it's a quality lead. And so, and a lot of times, like you said, it's a lot of bots, which I didn't realize until now that it really is a big issue. And if a lot of you guys are getting a lot of clicks, but not seeing a lot of leads coming in from that, there's a good chance that you might be getting a lot of bots, or Facebook is just putting it in front of people that are just good at clicking links, and they know who to put it in front of that'll just give you what you ask for. So one of the things that you have, and you've got some results to show us, one of the customers, and we've blurred out who it is. My first question is, are the results that they see in the Meta Business Manager, I think that's what it's called, yes, are those accurate?
Not always. So they give us a good indication of what's happening, but because of privacy laws, iOS 14 update, all of those things that kind of happened a couple of years ago, Facebook is unable to track every click, every landing page view, every form submission that we would want it to. So it's really important to kind of look at your Facebook metrics, but also have another way of measuring those metrics, which we do at OpSpot. We can see it on the back end, how many people have submitted their information. So we take Facebook's information, which is close to accurate, and we take the information we've got on our back end and combine the two to make sure that we've got a really accurate number. So things that Facebook is really good at being accurate on is like their reach, their impressions, and our cost, our ad spend.
What do those mean? Reach and impressions?
Sorry?
What does reach and impressions mean?
Yeah, so reach is the number of people that the ad has gone out in front of, and the impressions is the number of times that it's shown up on somebody's feed. So if you look at these, the numbers I've got here, if you look reach, it's got 1,245. That's the number of people it has reached. And the impressions, it's 2,283. So you can kind of see that it's reached this many people probably twice if you look at those numbers. And then, of course, the amount spent, because that's something you're spending directly on Facebook, that's going to be an accurate number. So those numbers are always pretty accurate. I like to take those numbers and then compare them against what we've got on our back end, which is the actual submissions that come through. So if you look at our Facebook reporting, some of the things that I said were important. We do look at clicks. We do look at click-through rate. Click-through rate kind of gives you an impression of how well your ad is doing. anything over 1% means that it's doing well. So 4%, 5%, these are great click-through rates. It means that somebody is stopping long enough to look at your ad, to click on something in your ad instead of just scrolling past it. So we look at click-through rate, we look at these landing page views, and we look at the form submissions. So I'm going to go right to, actually, I'm going to.
Stacy, while you're going to that real quick, on that form submissions right there in this particular video you're showing, this account, yes. Are those Facebook forms or are those our own forms that
those are our forms? So,
and are they tracking in here or how does that work?
They are tracking in here, but this is where I'll show you it gets a little inaccurate. So it says, we're going to look at this one. I have another chart I'm going to show you, but if we look, we've got a video ad, we've got a car ad, and we've got a static image. So here it says our video ad, what does it say? 28 submissions. If we look, I've got everything pulled onto a different sheet over here. Our video ad, in the same amount of time, we actually got 32 submissions. So, Facebook is doing a really good job. And the great thing is that Facebook usually underreports your numbers. So that's the bonus. But you can see they said 28. We actually have 32. So you want to make sure that you're pulling numbers. You're pulling your cost per lead off of accurate numbers. And then another thing to mention is that we can't track any of these things if we don't have a Facebook pixel on your webpage. So Facebook pixel, Google retracking codes, all of those things that are able to track who has been to your website is really important. That running ads, any form of ads without them is a waste of money.
What's a pixel, Stacy? I hear that a lot. I feel like it's something my kids would get at Disneyland.
Right? Yeah. No, it is.
They get Facebook pixels at Disneyland.
Yeah, that is true.
Up on my pixels. Yeah, so a pixel
Wait, that's a pixie stick.
Pixie stick. A pixel is just a little snippet of code that we put on the website that when someone clicks there, it triggers tracking in Facebook, or Google has a code, a remarketing code as well, that it triggers the information in Google and Facebook so that they know who has been to your website. And then that allows us to get in front of those people again, because if this, especially something like this, it's a free wash ad. If somebody has clicked on it far enough that they got to the website, whether or not they filled out the form, that indicates to us that they're relatively interested in what you have to offer. So if they didn't fill out that form, we want to get in front of them again to see if we can convince them to do it the next time. The other thing that the tracking code is really wonderful at is knowing who submitted and who didn't, because sometimes we want to exclude those people. You'll be wasting a whole bunch of money if you are advertising to the same exact pool of people all of the time, because they'll come back into the forum, try and get another free wash, and get the text message that says, sorry, you're already a customer. So you technically just paid for that lead when they were already in your pool to begin with.
So how do you know you're getting, quality leads? One of our customers is, we're looking at his forms and we're tracking his forms. He's running his own ads and he's getting of the people that land on his form, only 28% of the people are filling it out. And you seem to be getting 69%, on a lot of these, the people that click on it actually filling it out. What is the difference there? What are you doing differently to target, or how are you getting those quality leads? Because I feel like if they're clicking on it and filling out the form, it's a pretty quality lead.
Yes. So a lot of the times that has to do with your audience. It has to do with who you're targeting. So you have to make sure that you are, especially with car washes, the right geographic area, the right radius. Sometimes it's a real tight radius. Sometimes it's a lot larger depending on kind of the city, the population of where you live. But also, there are times that Facebook, Instagram, even Google will start to expand your audience for you. And then they're targeting people who are totally outside of your market. So someone might click on that page and realize, oh, that's not actually a car wash in my area, or that's not actually somewhere I drive by, that kind of thing. And then you're getting these landing page views where no one's submitting the form. So that's another thing that we track. We can see that like of the 51 people right here, we're looking at that video ad again, of the 51 people that ended up on the page, 32 of them submitted the form.
Yeah,
so that's
62%.
Yeah, so it's something, and it's something we're always working at getting better on. So we'll play with this is the kind of constant course correcting and constant testing that you do with these digital ads, because we're going to try and get those numbers better every single time. If you go up here, this is when we first started, we were getting a 43% conversion rate on that form. So, like we're improving with every single step, and that's kind of the goal.
Well, I've heard of things, Stacy. Recently, we have a customer that there's an agency. It's not us that's doing their Facebook ads, and we saw on those ads they basically marketed across the country, right? So they just said, "Hey, free wash or whatever across the country," and people are responding saying, "Hey, there's no wash near me" or whatever. And I think that the statistics, the metrics, probably look pretty good as far as like, hey, how many people viewed and how many people clicked and your impressions, so that they can maybe report back to their customer that, hey, look at the value we're bringing you. But I think that they're missing the boat, because again, it comes back to that cost per click. And yeah, you might get a really low cost per click, but your marketing and your target audience is off. So with you're able to, with anyone, you're able to really narrow that down, correct? Like within a radius, like how does that work as far as your target marketing? Is it age, the demographics, the radius? What does that look like for a
we start with the geographic area. That's a great place to start. We put in the specific address of the car wash. So we want to get as close as we can. And then we start with a radius, usually around 5-8 mile radius. And then we play with it. We reduce the radius a little, we expand it, and we see what happens to our results. We've also got times that we test. Maybe we want to run ads just to parents. Maybe we want to run ads just to women, to see if we can hone in on like the language or the images that are working for those specific groups. And then there are times things, again, I'm going to keep saying course correcting, but Facebook is constantly changing things. Also, our behavior is constantly changing. So at one point, something for women might be working, it might be killing it. And then a couple months later, we see the performance start to drop off. We have to kind of pull back and figure out what's changed and what's gone wrong, and test a few other things. So it's constant testing and watching the numbers and going where those results are. So not paying attention to necessarily the cost per link click. The other thing, like what you mentioned, people are going to be responding to that ad, like, where is this car wash? And you don't have one by me. Facebook is going to give you a really great engagement score because people are responding to your ad. They don't take into consideration that it's negative engagement. It's people saying like, this ad doesn't apply to me.
It's just any engagement.
Right. Any engagement. So a marketing company might come back to someone and say, look at all of the post engagements we've got. Well, they weren't good. We don't want people to tell us that our ads don't make sense to them.
So we've tested a lot of different things, and we talked a lot about this at the Freedom Summit last year, and we'll have even more things dialed in for the Freedom Summit coming up this year, which more information will come out soon on that.
Little Freedom Summit plug, right?
Little plug there. What are just and I know every market is different, and depending on where they are in the country and who you're targeting and all these different things. But what are some of the things that you're seeing that are really working as far as getting the results? And I know you're tweaking and those things, but what are some of the things? Is it always a call to action? Is it, what are some of the things that the very basics that need to be in their ads?
Yeah, great question. So all of the ads that we run do have a call to action in them. I think it's wasting money to be putting things out there that are just what we'd call brand awareness, like just to get the name in front of people. Call to action ads, something that has a specific directive for someone. We get better results from those, but also that brand awareness or that reach kind of comes as a bonus because these are what Facebook calls or social media calls interruption marketing. It's not someone who's searching for a car wash necessarily. You don't have to put into Google car wash near me to be fed a Facebook ad. A Facebook ad shows up in front of the people that Facebook thinks will get the most out of it. So it will show up on people's feeds who never click it. So they will we'll get the advantage of having reached them, of having gotten our brand in front of them, whether or not they've clicked on it. But then we're still paying for the thing that's most important to us. So the action is what we want. The brand awareness and the reach comes as kind of a bonus just because of the nature of social media. So we always have call to actions in there. We always run a static ad and a video ad because people treat their social medias differently. I always use my husband as an example. My husband scrolls Instagram totally different than I do. He clicks on a bunch of things. I like to watch videos, that kind of thing. So Facebook and Instagram know that, and the opportunity to get our ad in front of somebody means that we have to kind of give it different formats and different placements so that the biggest number of people will have these ads served to them. When I say biggest number of people, though, the biggest number of correct people, of right people, of targeted people will see these ads so that we can get the results that we want. And then updating the ads. So you don't want to make huge changes necessarily when something's working, but to update it for spring to talk about pollen, to update it in the winter to talk about salt, to making changes like that really makes a difference as well, because just putting an ad up and letting it run, it will show up in front of the same person eventually too many times. So to make sure that you're making small creative changes so that you don't end up in kind of a social media rut where they stop showing your ad because Facebook has gotten tired of it. Not even your customers might get tired of it, but Facebook has decided that the creative is limited and they don't want to show it to people anymore, and they will start increasing the cost of your ad. So making little seasonal updates is really important too.
How often? You say seasonal. So should I be looking to change monthly, every quarter, once a week?
I would say at least monthly, making little changes. Okay. And then, quarterly would be a kind of a revamp. I love to seasonally say like, okay, well, we don't want our ads to have flowers in them and that's something we've done with this campaign that I've got up here. For Valentine's Day, we ran one that had hearts in it. For spring, we've got one that's got kind of a flowery spring. We talk about pollen, that kind of thing. So little changes like that, but yes, kind of giving it a little bit of an overhaul seasonally so that it makes sense. Facebook and Instagram will place those ads that make those changes ahead of ones that have not.
So I know that your specialty is Facebook ads, but we're also doing Google ads and things as well. Do you take a different approach with Google ads, or what is, when people are going to spend money on Google ads, what is it that they should be spending money on?
Yes. So with Google ads, it's a little different. The Google ads are cost per click, not cost per impression. So there's kind of a different setup to begin with. Google ads are a little more straightforward, and it's not interruption marketing where you're showing up in front of someone's Google feed. They have to actually put in a keyword that makes sense for your ad to show up. So that's where the important kind of targeting comes in from, is your keywords and your negative keywords. So to make sure that those are kind of spot on, car wash near me, making sure that you have a Google My Business or a Google Business Profile is what it's now called. But having all of that set up and all of that accurate will get you higher Google scores so that you're showing up at the top of someone's feed when they are looking for the business that you've got.
And should the title, the headline of your Google ad be the car wash name, or should there be some sort of a hook that they can use instead to grab attention?
Google lets you do both. So you can put in a bunch of different headlines, and Google can sift through, I think it's like 9 different headlines that you can stick in there, and Google will shift them around to optimize for the customer that's in front of them. So you don't necessarily need the business name because that will show up on the ad or that will show up on the web address, but call to actions, but different call to actions or different kind of taglines are all something that you can test, and Google gives you that information just like Facebook does. We test everything and we start removing things that are not working and leaning into the ones that do.
I was going to just make a statement here, but and I guess a question here, Stacy. There's probably a lot of people out there that we search something or talk about something or, think about something these days, and it shows up in our feeds. It shows up, when we're searching online for something. It's in our Gmail account. There's display ads, and we're like, man, they're so smart. How did they know I was looking for that, right? is that the same thing, and I believe that's called retargeting, right? So if I am a consumer driving down the road and I search car wash near me, I don't take any action. I just happen to search that. Is that something that if I have my Google ads set up correctly and I'm doing retargeting, will now car wash near me show up in different places online?
Yeah. So I say there's a little bit of, I call it meta magic that we don't understand. That's when you say something to a friend.
The pixie dust.
Yeah. But it's when you're not even Googling. You haven't even put anything into you just said something to your wife about whatever it might be. And then it shows up on your Facebook feed. That is a little bit of meta magic. Yeah. We don't get to know how that works, but if we put in the right targeting for our Facebook and Instagram ads, Facebook, I don't know how they do it. I don't want to know how they do it. But that's how those ads show up in front of someone who's just thought about a car wash. When it comes to Google, you'll see Google ads kind of all over the place. They've got different types of ads. There's YouTube ads and there's display ads and there's text ads. And if you have Googled a car wash near me, yes, we have Google, a little remarketing code that also goes on the website. And then next time you pull up your Google, you might see an ad for that same car wash that you already kind of clicked on their website or that you already Googled. And the great thing is that although they don't have like a formal relationship, Google and Facebook can also know. So when you travel to a website from a Facebook ad, Google knows that you were there. So when you then Google car wash near me, our ads will come up first if we have them set up correctly. The Google ad will come up even though you visited it from Facebook because those codes are on your website. So that's why the tracking code for both is so very important, and setting up your ads correctly is so very important.
So with that being said, Josh, you were gonna. Sorry, I know we talk over each other because I don't know where the pause button is. How does that affect? And this is my last question for now. Because I'm curious, how does that affect SEO? We get a lot of people talking, hey, how do I get better SEO to my website and blah, blah. But it seems every time I search something, it's really difficult to get a website to show up, right? It's usually, a Facebook, it's Yelp, it's something else. It's a third party, it's, that's popping up in my, as my top search results. So what's more important, dumping money into SEO, like search engine optimization for your website, or doing the retargeting and putting these ads on Google and spending the money for that? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think you need to do a little of both. But when it comes to spending money, I wouldn't spend a whole lot of money on SEO. You can get that in place through things like blogs, through things that you can post on your put on your website that will help that. But you're right, the big dogs are always going to be the ones that show up first on those Google ads. It's always going to be something like Yelp. It's always going to be like a big company. So putting the money into the marketing and making sure that your Google business profile is correct, that's going to get you listed first.
Okay.
As opposed to too much SEO, but SEO is not something that we want to forget about entirely. We definitely want to have a website that, that's Josh's department, to have your website perfect and wonderful. And,
right.
But you're going to want to spend money on the ads.
Okay. Awesome.
So, Stacey, as we wrap up, one of the obviously we've launched this officially for our customers, and now that we've tested for a while, we don't like to do anything that we don't know is going to work. So we tested this before we officially launched it to our customers, and now that we're doing it, you've set up several accounts, and some of this you've had to untangle a lot of mess that's been done. So let me end with this, because this is important for anybody that has a business and setting this up, whether you're going to work with Stacey, which I recommend, or you work with another marketing agency. What is important for them to know as far as owning their own profiles, accounts, and these kind of things, so that it's not a mess for them if they wanted to fire their agency and move on to somebody else, or maybe they're just making way too much money with Stacey, so they need to go work with somebody else. But how do they make just life easier for them?
Yeah. So all of your digital assets, your domain, your Google business profile, your Meta business profile, all of those things are your business assets, and you want to make sure that you've got ownership of them. So many times somebody works with somebody to set up their domain or set up their Facebook ads or set up their Google ads, and that agency will create something, a profile for you, and run all of the ads through that, or they will create the pixel and they will create all of these things, and then you don't have ownership of it. When you go somewhere else, or when you even try and run ads on your own, you lose access to all of those things. So it's really important that you own your business assets. Even if they've been set up by somebody else, it's really easy for that person, whoever set them up, to give you ownership access. They can still retain their ownership access and give you ownership access, but that's something that you're definitely going to want, because if you go somewhere else, or if, I always say, like 20 years down the line, you lose access to your Facebook ads, if it's not connected to you personally, Facebook says, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. You've got to start over. So because of it's cybersecurity that Facebook attaches everything to your personal account. People say all the time, like, oh, well, I want my personal and my business separate on Facebook. That's not how Facebook works. Facebook wants to know that you are an individual that's running a valid business, that you're not some Russian bot that's trying to advertise. So making sure that everything is connected to you personally is really important. If anybody is thinking about making a change in their marketing and someone has set up their domain or has set up their Facebook business profile, before you sever ties with that person, you want to make sure that you've got all of the ownership of all of the accounts that you can have, because it's really difficult to get it afterwards. And
it's probably a good idea to set up like a spouse or a business partner or somebody as the second profile on that. If for some reason Facebook one day doesn't like what you're posting and they kick you off of Facebook, you don't lose all that business account either.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can lose access for something silly, or you can be just yesterday, I lost access for a couple hours because I was making a bunch of changes in a bunch of ad accounts, and Facebook was like, who is this person? And we need to stop. So they shut down my account. It happens a lot. So having someone like a spouse, or maybe an adult child, or someone a business partner that you trust and you love, having someone like that on your account, just in case you lose access, that they can still go in and kind of re-grant you access if that's an issue. That's always something that's really important to have. So.
Very good. Well, Stacy, thanks so much. And if you're listening to this, we highly recommend at least talking with Stacy. If you feel like, Facebook ads and Google ads is just a black hole of money for you, Stacy is getting results. We've been testing this and watching it and tweaking it, and she really is getting results. She's doing a great job. She's, helping our customers out tremendously. And so if you want to talk with her, reach out to your account manager if you're a customer, and they can connect you with Stacy and getting things set up. And other than that, Stacy, by the way, if you're listening, I always forget to do this. If you're listening, text cheers to, just forgot our number.
411-365.
411-365.
Cheers to 411. That's information. 411, 365 days a year. You can get information. So cheers to 411. And Josh, I want to add one quick comment here. We talk about results. You were talking about results just now, and we didn't go in depth on tracking this from start to finish, top of funnel to bottom of funnel to conversions. And that's one thing that we continually harp on this podcast, on our website, on everything we do. We're big, huge fans of Dan Kennedy, direct response marketing. Everything you do should have a call to action. Everything you should do, you should be able to track. And it goes, Stacy kept us a little high level, which is still more than most people, where we have a call to action, which lands on a page, which somebody enters a phone number, which they actually convert. But now they have a text message on their phone with a coupon typically. Then we're tracking that to say, hey, did they show up at the car wash and redeem that? And then finally, did they end up becoming a member? That's literally tracking from the top of funnel to the bottom and actually seeing what your true ROI is. So many people, I just got off the phone with a customer a minute ago. They're doing digital ads, but they have zero call to action. There's no tracking to it. So to me and Dan Kennedy, you're literally taking your money and lighting it on fire. So stop spending money on things that you're not tracking start to finish, and make sure, like Stacy said, that you have a call to action on every single thing. And Josh, if you'll put this in here, maybe you'll put a link to it. But I love Dan's book, No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing. What a great, great, great book. And it's all about direct response, social media marketing. And man, if you have any questions whether or not you should be doing it or how to do it, I would start there, read that book, and then, of course, reach out to Stacy or OpSpot for us to help you get the best results you can from your social media digital ads marketing.
Honestly, it's the only way to hold accountable the people that are running your ads. Yeah. And so Stacy, she shows results to hold herself accountable. You should be holding your marketing agency accountable for results. And if they can't show you those conversions, then it's time to start working with somebody else. Stop lighting that money on fire. So Stacy, thank you so much. You're crushing it. Really, really excited about what this adds to our customers and the folks that sign up. So, hey, until next time.
Till then, cheers, y'all.